Good morning, guys. Welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, good evening, all of the family out there, guys and girls. Welcome, welcome. Uh, so I hope everything is well with you. I switched the camera around, thinking that this would be better because whenever I bring something close, I wanted it to be able to zoom in on it. But looks like it may be too close. So let's turn the camera around. It's either like too close or too far away, one way or the other, right? No happy medium. Let's have to bring it really close. All right, so let's see. What popped live this week? I can't don't remember. Anything was up this week. This is the Spider-Gwen from Spider-Man Spider-Verse, the animated movie. And before Hot Toys announced their Miles Morales and their Gwen Stacy, third-party manufacturers had announced theirs. And this was one that was made by Bullethead. There were two third-party manufacturers that had offered this figure. Bullethead being one, and I think Young Rich Toys was the other. I don't remember. Between the two, I ordered the Bullethead one because I thought the suit looked more like it did from the movie. I didn't much care for the suit in the one made by the other company, which Young Rich Toys made the Peter B. Parker and a Miles Morales, so I'm assuming it was Young Rich Toys, but I may be wrong. But anyhow, the other company also offered a Spider-Gwen in her school uniform. Now, the fault that I had with this figure when it first was announced was I didn't care for the head sculpt. I didn't care for the mouth. I didn't think it really looked much like her with the head sculpt. But then I was thinking, am I really going to show her with the head sculpt on there as it is? Most of the figures that I have, I display with their helmet or their mask on. If I have multiples, then I'll display without the helmet or mask on. So looking at the other company that made the schoolgirl uniform or school uniform, her face had two views. One was where Miles had just removed his sticky hand from her hair and had ripped her hair out. And she's got this look of defeat on her face, I guess. And then the other look was before she had her hair done, when she had it just regular when she first arrived. Those head sculpts I thought were a little bit better, and I liked the schoolgirl uniform. And also, if I remember correctly, the shoes on Gwen Stacy, the ballerina shoes, were a soft cloth, whereas this one is an articulated plastic one, if I remember correctly. So what I decided I was going to do, I was going to order this as the suit, and then I was going to order the school uniform as a secondary, but I never got around to ordering the school uniform. It might still be available, I'm not sure. Then Hot Toys announced theirs, and the only difference I noticed between the Hot Toys version and this one, really, is the Hot Toys one has interchangeable eyes, but the Hot Toys head sculpt is textured, whereas in the comic or the movie and this one, the head sculpt with the mask head sculpt is not textured. So, there's lots of different changes, and the actual head sculpt, the Gwen Stacy head sculpt, it looks really good on the Hot Toys one. So I've got the Hot Toys one on pre-order too, whenever that comes out, which I don't think it's coming out for a while. But I really was happy to see Spider-Gwen in the movie. As I said, I'm totally fine with alternate universe Spider-Man. But don't mess around with the original. It's my only problem. So this is how 1/6 kit ships a package to you, by the way, including little corner protectors that he includes. including corner protectors, he includes. So he really does a really good job trying to make sure that what is being sent to you all the way from, I think he's in Hong Kong, is sent to you well. I know one of you guys had said that you didn't like purchasing once you had a problem with them, and I understand that. You know, that's why there's a Target and a Walmart. They both sell similar products. Some people just don't like shopping in Walmart, and they'd rather go to Target, and vice versa. So, but this is what you get with 1/6 kit. I mean, that's a lot of packaging there, and the shipping is included in the price when you purchase the product. And I'm not getting any kickback from Kit. Don't think that I am. I'm just sharing with you. When you purchase the product, whatever it says, if it says it's $209, whatever, it's $209, including the shipping. Now, if you have customs or duties that you have to pay in your country, then that's going to be on top of that. But there's not like he hits you up later and says, oh, you got to pay $40 in shipping. Whatever the price is that you pay the day that you pay for it, when you order it, that's the price it's going to be. And he also doesn't mess around with companies that have not produced product. So you might find, if you're looking at his site, that he doesn't carry a certain new third-party product for whatever reason. And most of the time his response is, in dealing with this company before, they have proven themselves unreliable, and I'm not going to waste my time collecting money and keeping track of orders when the company doesn't even produce or release a figure. So he does a little bit of a pre-screening, if you will, on this. This is the Bullethead BH005. If you remember, Bullethead also made for us the Venom, which I love the Venom. Savon Mason, how are you doing? Your picture is nice and clear today. Was that before or after I switched the camera around? Was it nice and clear? Which one was the better nice and clear? Received my armored Thanos this week. Oh, from a UK shop. He is both awesome and inevitable. Bet it looks good. Love that Venom. I love that Venom too. That was when I seen it. Of course, it was a no ifs, ands, or but question about whether or not I was getting it. I was like, oh, for a fact, I'm getting that Venom. Venom's been one of my favorites from the beginning, all the way back in Secret Wars, and I thought they did a really good job with that. The only thing I didn't much care for, if you remember from the video, is the feet. The ankles were a little loose. Got a little problem with the ankles on that Venom, but he's beautiful as far as I'm concerned. This is Bullethead's 5th figure now, 005. I don't remember which one that one was. Who made the cable? That wasn't Bullethead, was it? Was that Bullethead also? Don't remember. Local Lou has mentioned the SDCC exclusives. So we talked about that last week. I'll bring that up again because they still aren't up for pre-sale here in the United States at Sideshow. Sideshow Comic-Con goes from July 20th through 26th. I'm assuming then that we'll be able to order them at that point. You know, if that makes any sense. The 4 exclusives are the Stan Lee from Thor Ragnarok. So if you're collecting Stan Lees or you have not gotten a Stan Lee yet, there's another Stan Lee from the movies. We also have Whiplash Mark 1 from Iron Man 2, which is him at the Monaco Raceway in his outfit. And it looks to be an exact replica of the figure that was released 10 years ago or whatever it was. I don't see any difference in the figure whatsoever. It has its own MMS number, which normally whenever they re-release a figure, if it's an exact duplicate, like when they did with the Mark 42, they keep the same MMS number. 42 or 43? 43. When they re-released the Mark 43, it came with the exact same MMS number. This one has a new MMS number, and the only reason I can see why is maybe for 2 reasons. One reason specifically is the diorama is different. But I think also now the artist that's painting the head sculpt might be a different artist than who painted the first head sculpt. The head sculpt are still the same. I think it's just because they're cranking out the old head sculpts from the computer. But each Hot Toys, remember, the head sculpt on each Hot Toys is hand painted. So I think they have a different painter this time painting the head sculpt on Mickey Rourke, isn't that his name? Character, Ivan's character. So those were two of the four. Another one is the hologram Iron Man Mark IV. That was a figure that Hot Toys showed us, I don't even know how long ago, 10 years ago or so, as a show off, more or less, of what they could do. And they never sold it. They made a red and gold one. If I remember correctly, they made a blue and green one. Or maybe a blue and green one is fan created. I don't remember. But I remember seeing a blue and green hologram also, holographic figure. Now, this is what's interesting about this. Looking at it, I was trying to determine whether or not it was plastic or whether it was die cast, because it's translucent. The entire thing is translucent. It states in the description there are some die cast parts on it. I'm assuming it's possibly the structure of the hips or something along that line that they've made die cast, because all the plastic pieces appear plastic except the very actual kneecap on it appears to be solid. So that may be die cast as well. I'm not sure. Here's what's really interesting about that. The MMS number on it, whatever it is, 553 or whatever, does not have the die cast designation in it. It's not MMS 553D29 or whatever die cast number we're on. So even though it states there's die cast parts in it, they don't consider it part of their die cast lineup as far as that goes. And it might be because the die cast figures normally have die cast hips, calf, and portions of that are die cast, where this one obviously is not. So that's, as far as I'm concerned, is a buy. I will be buying that for fact. Now, I pray that Sideshow makes it available instead of playing stupid games. So otherwise, I'll have to track it down through eBay or something along that line. And I always hate doing that. The fourth one of the SDCC exclusives is Miguel O'Hara. Is it Miguel O'Hara or Miguel O'Hara? From Spider-Man 2099, and it's the black suit, which it looks blue, which I've always thought it was dark blue anyhow, and it looks amazing. And of course, Spider-Man collector as well, you know that's a total buy as far as I'm concerned. Also, both of those, actually all four of those figures I can see could be a pass to the average, to some collectors. I can see some collectors saying, I don't care about a Whiplash. You know, that movie's 10 years old. I've even forgot the movie. I don't need a Whiplash. I didn't get the Whiplash. He's not a Grail. I can see you passing on that. I can see collectors passing on Stan Lee. I'm going to pass on both the Whiplash and the Stan Lee. I have a Whiplash, and I have my Stan Lee, like the director's version or whatever. He's just like with his chair and his pen. And I'm fine with that. I don't need a whole, as of this moment, the day I'm sitting right here, I don't feel the need to collect all the Stan Lees. And that may change later, but I don't see a need for myself to collect them. I could see how the holographic Iron Man could be something that you could pass on as well, because it's just it's a filler piece or an additional piece or just another piece that doesn't really fit in. I don't know if you could say it was in the movies. I don't remember him building a red and gold holograph in the movie. Maybe he did, and I just don't remember it. But I can see how you could say, well, that's a pass for me easily. And also, Spider-Man 2099, if you're not a big Spider-Man fan, or you aren't collecting the PS4 games, movie, videos, figures, or if you just don't care about Miguel from Spider-Man 2099 series, I can see how that could be a pass too. But some of us, like myself, are like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm happy to see that. I'd really like to see a Mark 21 Chrome made, die-cast. That's what I really wanted to see. And I'd really like to see them, because in my opinion, if they crank that guy out, if that guy comes, if the Mark 21 is released, then it's full steam ahead on the rest of the House Party Protocol. The fact that they're redoing Whiplash, two things come to my mind. One is they're going back and going to be releasing all the figures again, which really kind of pisses me off. If that's the case, the first Whiplash is listed as a collectible limited figure, and out it comes again. Maybe that's another reason why they have an MMS on it. The other thing that comes to my mind is maybe this is really a stretch. I mean, this is for real a stretch. With the Black Widow movie coming out, I think it's now been pushed to November or end of October for some countries. And hell, it may not even be released out then. Dave Bautista's movie My Spy pretty much went straight to video because it wasn't able to be played, I guess, in the theaters. I don't think it made it to any theater whatsoever. Cute little movie. So I don't know if Black Widow's coming out in November or not with the COVID situation the way that it is. But that's kind of like an in-between movie. It happens, if I remember correctly, it's supposed to happen in between Spider-Man Homecoming and Avengers Infinity War. So it's kind of a backwards movie. One of the things that I theorized is that's why the Mark 47 is being re-released. I truthfully am under the impression and possibility that we're going to get an explanation as to what the hell Tony was doing on the other side of the world. We're going to see possibly a Mark 47 and maybe even get an answer to the Mark 48/Mark 49 debate, which we've discussed many times in the past on what those figures could possibly be. So maybe with Ivan or Ivan, I don't remember how his name was, being Russian, and Black Widow being Russian, and the Black Widow movie happening in Russia, maybe Ivan's going to be there. Maybe we're going to see him again. I don't know. I don't know why they're re-releasing this. One of the things that I've prided myself in saying is that they will never re-release Ironmonger. Hell, they're re-releasing Whiplash. Anything is possible at this point. Unless, like I said, there's a genuine reason for doing it because he's going to be in an upcoming movie. I don't know. But that's what my opinion is in regards to all of that. So good luck on that for you guys. Like I said, Sideshow is teasing that it's going to be during their Sideshow Con of July 20th through 26th. And I hope it's available. Obviously, they're more likely going to limit it to one. I can't imagine any more than one, except maybe the Spider-Man. I'd love to have a couple of those. But money is super tight, as you know. By the way, also, I've got... was just told that my Captain Marvel Deluxe will be coming in a couple of weeks. So some of you guys have already gotten your Captain Marvel, and I think somebody told me last week they got their Marvel Deluxe. So I originally had ordered both of those, the regular and the Marvel Deluxe. Money got tight. I canceled the regular and just continued on with the Captain Marvel Deluxe version. I really wanted to be able to display her with her helmet and her mask, unmasked. But at this point, I couldn't afford both of them. I also have ordered a bunch of Fisons. I have ordered every suntan Fison that's available to be bought to date, and one of the pails. And I've ordered a Jow Dolls, however you say that. Ordered those as well. So some of those will be coming, some of them on pre-order. So those will be coming probably in a week or two as well. So I've got those looking forward to. Also, I've ordered Detolf or Detolf cases, however you want to say. I ordered two of those. I went down to IKEA. They cost $57 if you buy it at a store. However, the store's not stocking the doggone things. You have to buy them online. Now, buy it online, you pay the $57 and you pay $40 shipping and handling on top of that. So it's now back to a $97 plus tax case. So I've got two of those in order. I'm going to put Spider-Man in one of them, possibly Deadpool in the other. I don't know, and got to figure out where in the world I'm going to put them in here. So I've been needing to get cases for a long time, and I was like, fuck it, I'll go ahead and drop a couple $100 on cases. So those are coming, and I got new Patreons. Thank you very much for being a Patreon. All of my Patreon subscribers so far have requested to remain anonymous through the video, so I won't announce your name. But I have no problem announcing who you are because I'm eternally thankful and would gladly spread your name all over the video for being a Patreon supporter. So that's what's going on with me. 4th of July was uneventful. We watched fireworks at home. My wife doesn't leave the house. She's left the house once, except for when she has to be admitted into the hospital, and then an ambulance comes and puts her in the gurney and takes her to the hospital. But she's incapable of leaving the house at this point, so of course we wouldn't go anywhere. On top of that, most firework displays were shut down anyhow because they don't want anybody gathering. What's going on with me? Pardon me. A little gas. Let me catch up on some of the chat that I missed while I was rambling on. Okay. Love that Venom. Yeah, I have my Iron Scavenger on pre-order. Can't wait. I really want to see how you guys like that Iron Scavenger. Man, I so much want that, but I'm so scared of it. I really am. Toys R did cable. That's right. Thank you very much. 29 Spider-Man is a must for fact. Total must for me. Picture better after you change. Thank you, Ian. Thank you. If the whips were upgraded, I would buy it. Same whips, exact same figure, exact down to the articulated body. They could have easily used a seamless body, so all the little cuts in the chest and the elbows and everything. And I mean, he's topless. He's wearing his armor more or less, his suit, and still all the shoulder joints and everything, which is really. I find with the technology available, when they're using a seamed body, when they're showcasing the body, it just kind of bothers me. It's like, why? Just make it seamless. That you're showing this off. They're starting to do that with the arms now. So like the elbows, like Thor and I think Gamora, they have seamless elbows. They still got the shoulder because that's where the clothing meets, and you really don't see it. But it's nice seamless elbow, which makes it more believable, brings it more to life. Could you imagine going to a museum and all the life-size wax figures had articulated elbows in them? You'd be like, well, that doesn't make them look real or believable. I mean, this is kind of where we are in the industry. So I just couldn't believe that when they cranked out the new Whiplash, they didn't just update the body. Now, if they'd done that, well, that would have been a definite buy for me, 100%. It would have been an easy, definite replacement for the figure in that regards. CBS Sci-Fi, hello. Let's see, I'm waiting to see what's good this week. Mark 6 War Machine on the way for me. Cool. That's good to know, because what am I got? I've got the, which one is this? This is the 4, Avengers Infinity War, number 4. And then I think that there is no 5, right? So I'm assuming the 5, we kind of discussed this a long time ago. I'm assuming the 5 would be his suit for traveling through the the time portal. That's what I'm assuming the 5 is, because we see the 6, we see him in his suit, his time traveling suit. What do they call those? The team suits. We see him in that, and then we see him in the 6, and then we see the Iron Patriot. So I'm assuming the Iron Patriot wouldn't be the 5 because it was showcased after the 6. So I'm assuming that must be what the 5 is. And I really want to see all the other team suits. What have they announced? I think they've only announced Tony Stark. Did they announce a Captain America on that team suit, or am I just putting that in there? Because what I would hate to do would be to be stuck in the same scenario I was with the Iron Legion. If I knew that they weren't going to be ranking number 1, 2, 4, and 5, I would have bought 5 of those Iron Legions. And one day would have figured out some way of putting a sticker on there or paying somebody to repaint the doggone things with the different numbers, like Terrence has done. He lives in Singapore and has a beautiful Iron Man collection. And from my understanding, he has every single Iron Man that has ever been made by Hot Toys, and has had some custom made ones done as well. And he bought 5 additional. I think he has a total of 6 of those Iron Legions. He had he contracted somebody to paint the other 4. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And he has one with no numbers on it whatsoever. So I would have done the exact same thing. And on these team suits, if they're not going to make the others, I mean, I would gladly buy one for Hawkeye, and one, I think, for Ant-Man, and just put the heads on there. I would take a Jeremy Renner head and put it on there. Or take a Paul Rudd head and put it on there, if that's what the requirement is. But I would hate to not buy those pieces in anticipation of them making them, and then they never make them. And then on top of that, you still got Black Widow and Nebula, and they require their own suits, and they're definitely not going to be able to. You can't put a Black Widow head on a Tony Stark team suit and make it represent that. But I feel I want the team. I want that team, that Avengers team, in there. I want a Hulk one. You know, that the same thing. You can't put a Hulk head or Professor Hulk head on Tony's head body and have a Professor Hulk head. You know, I want the suits, and I hope that they, you know, that's my biggest complaint about Hot Toys. Their inconsistency on creating figures. You have a Tonto but no Lone Ranger. You have an Ant-Man but no Wasp. You know,
I don't understand sometimes. Pardon me, I have a runny nose.
so that's ridiculously stupid. Last time re-releases, I can finally get Scarlet Witch for a reasonable price. There you go. Well, that where it wasn't a re-release. I know that there's been third parties that have made they've made the Iron Man test suit from the first movie. They've made Scarlet Witch again as a test movie. Unless you're saying that people are selling their figures because of that, but I haven't seen a re-release by Hot Toys on the Scarlet Witch. What did RG post on Facebook asking if anyone wants to see Iron Man 4? Oh, wow, that'd be cool. You know, it's funny. He said there'd be an Iron Man 4 decades ago. Well, gosh, not decades ago, but I think it was an Ellen DeGeneres show he was on where they said, she's like, is there going to be an Iron Man 3 or Iron Man 4? And he battered around and he goes, yeah, there will be an Iron Man 3 and an Iron Man 4. But then, you know, I think what he was referring to really at that point was there's going to be multiple movies made because they made 22 movies and he was in most of them. Or 23 movies, I forget what it is. But I think he's, for the most part, really getting tired of the character and the work involved, even though it's a huge moneymaker. And he's pretty much, in my opinion, set for life with his Iron Man creation, the character Tony Stark that he brought to life. But I don't think Robert really wants to do any more Iron Man specific movies. But yeah, I would love one of the movies I would love to see. Really, I would love to see a movie that showed all the other suits, him doing something in them. The 8, the 9, the 10, the 11, the 12, blah, 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 blah. That would be cool as hell for me. Because I have questions about, for instance, is it the Mark 15 where you get two different arms? You know, with no explanation as to why the arms are what they are. I guess the Mark 15. It's beyond me. I'd like an explanation to that. Ironmonger and diecast, yeah, and that would fix the freaking hips on that. I don't think for the most part, everyone that I can remember seeing has the cracked hips. There might be one or two of you guys out there that have lucked into one that doesn't have the cracked hips, but every one of them have cracked hips right there, the ball joint on the if you look at there, and it definitely would. If they were to crank out a new one, that one would need a die cast. But it'd be interesting to see how Whiplash does. Maybe Whiplash is a test. If Whiplash cranks up, maybe they'll make the Ironmonger. But gosh, you're talking about Iron Man 1, 2010, right? The first one of the first movies. I don't remember what was first, Iron Man or The Incredible. I think Iron Man was, and then I think Hulk came second after that. But those were the first two movies of the whole franchise, right? Of the story. I think it's just Tony, Cap, and War Machine in that. Have they made a War Machine of the Avengers suit yet? I hype for Venom Pool. Yeah, me too. And I wouldn't if this is spring off point for Venom in that style. I don't know what the story is with the Venom Pool. Is that that's a video game re-release, isn't it? It's a VGM series figure, isn't it? The Venom Pool. I can tell you one film I don't want to see: Doolittle 2. I did not see the Eddie Murphy Dr. Doolittle. Of course, I seen Dr. Doolittle from the old days. I always thought that was a really cute, really fun little movie. I remember who the actor was that did that movie, but I've never seen Doolittle 2. Not that I can remember. Maybe I did, and I just don't remember seeing it. Gwen Stacy. Remember, Gwen was one of Peter's first girlfriends, And in the comics, I don't remember who he was battling, but she died. Her dad was the police commissioner, I think, in New York. And so she died, and Peter kind of blamed himself. Peter always has tragedy in his life, it seems. So in this universe, as she explained in the Spider-Verse, in her universe, Peter's the one that died, and she was the one that became bitten by the radioactive spider. And of course, the Spider-Verse is not the Spider-Gwen. You know, if you're actually get down to the brass tacks of it, you know, whatever world she existed in the Spider-Verse, you know, the comic world is a different world altogether. There's just slight differences between the characters. This thing was packed in there so tight, it was like super sealed. It almost feels like vacuum packed. Warning: this collectible is actually a toy containing fine components may cause choking. Please watch out for children under 14 years to use. So it's for ages 15 and up, by the way, just as the channel is. This channel is for adults only. Yeah, the box is actually creased from that suction coming from Bullet Head. When they put this together, they really sucked it clean, and it's compressed in on this. Whole thing is. So it's actually a shoebox style box. So it says Miss Stacy 1/6 scale collectible figure. So of course they couldn't call it Spider-Gwen because this is not an officially licensed product. Which means places like Sideshow and such will not sell it. Although the webbing is reflective. Don't know if you can see that. There's the back of the box if you're inclined. It almost looks like one of the little USB sticks that were predominant. The goober that was predominant in the movie, but it's the Bullet Head logo. That's what that is. It's not a USB stick. We used to call that the Hot Toys Plop, right? Really straightforward. This was a really good price. I think this cost me 100, I think maybe 100 and a half, 150. So not a very expensive figure at all, considering how much Hot Toys figures are nowadays. Okay. A couple of spider webbings that were not, if you were to notice in there, they weren't in the spot. And I swear it looks like almost like as if they vacuum sealed this. And these were wonked around, so it actually ended up going around where it went up. So it was in this little slot. It left its slot, was on the top of the plastic, went down in the plastic where the hand was, and got stuck that way after putting the lid on it. Same thing with this little webbing here. And that's really minor. I mean, come on, the webbing has a mind of its own or a life of its own. So if it's a little wonkied out, that's fine. I imagine if I were to put this in some hot water, I could probably straighten it out. Maybe a hair dryer, something. I might just leave it as it is. I've got so much of these. It really appears to be exactly like the Hot Toys mold, which gives me some mind as well as to how some of these are being created, these third-party figures. Like maybe there's one person that's making them and the Hot Toys disapproves of them, and then they ship it off to somebody else. Because this really looks like the Hot Toys mold. Maybe they made a casting of the Hot Toys one and put those in here, but that's what these are. But you can see they're not straight, and that really doesn't bother me. If I want to use webbing on her, I've got so much webbing from the Spider-Man from Hot Toys that they would work. Obviously, it looks like to be exact same connection in there, so that's a non-issue for me. And here's the splat, so we get the splat too. Again, this looks so much like Hot Toys, it's not even funny. Maybe I think the Hot Toys one, they put like a little silver on it. This just appears to be a clear plastic. I should get the Hot Toys ones out here. so I can check. Let's see. It's here. Yeah, here we go. Let's compare it. Let's compare it to the Hot Toys. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 of these full. So here's the Hot Toys ones. Here's the bullet head ones, and yeah, there's appears to be almost like a silvery to the Hot Toys one. This is more of a white, the bullet head ones, but I mean it appears to be cut from the same mold, or like I said, maybe they cast from that. But there is like this little silver shine to the Hot Toys one that is not on the bullet head. So the fact that it's bent is really is minor. It's minor to me. I'm not using all the Hot Toys ones as it stands, so it's really a non-issue. Now, if that was exclusive to this figure, yeah, that would really bother me. And here's the Hot Toys Splat compared to the bullet heads Splat. And again, it just looks like it almost appears like maybe they dry brush a silver over it. I may be wrong, but it kind of gives that appearance. But looking at these, I mean that's the exact same cast, no question about that. So. Now, the head sculpt isn't as bad as I remember. They had given her this really undesired mouth expression in the prototype, and this one doesn't seem to be as bad. You guys can see that. Not displeased with that as much as I thought I was going to be looking at it. So this is, of course, obviously after Miles had ripped her hair out of her head, and so the rest of the movie we see her with this hairdo, and that's pretty nice. I kind of thought that the eye spacing was a little wide, but I think that's where she was. I think it's a pretty good likeness of how she was in the Spider-Verse movie. So that's good. Rex Harrison, Doctor. Yeah, there you go. The original Dr. Dolittle. Green Goblin, he killed her. Green Goblin, oh my God. No, the one with RDJ and Doolittle. No, the one with RDJ and Doolittle. It's crap. Definitely no second movie there. Robert Downey Jr. did Dr. Dolittle. Nice box. Looks okay to me. Robert Downey Jr. I thought it was Eddie Murphy that did Dr. Dolittle. I am really impressed with the looks of this figure. Right now, my only complaint in just looking at it, again, is the sew job. I don't remember, there was another figure that we got recently that had this really poor quality sew up here. I don't know why they couldn't just have done it in the back with a zipper or something to that effect. It is nice to have a nice seamless back. And she's got, just looking at it real quick over, she's got a great butt. That's a good looking butt. Smooth head. Okay, the movie had a smooth head. It's got possibly too much light here. However, the Hot Toys, gosh, goodness gracious. The Hot Toys Spider-Gwen, which they've shown the prototype, they textured the head. So did the other company that has made a Spider-Gwen third-party company. They textured the head. And the movie, for fact, the head is not textured. But Hot Toys and the other company textured the same as the suit. The head is not textured. The eyes are not interchangeable. She feels like she's made out of the same material that they made the Deadpool figure and some of the Spider-Man figures out of. Nice and squishy up here and in her butt. Rest of her is hard. Her tummy's squishy. The hoodie has a wire in it, so you can pose the hood in different areas if you wish, which is a nice feature. I like that. The hood seems a little large for the figure. Probably doesn't need all this excess material right here. Is that too much light still? This white figure really seems to suck up a lot of that white. I think there's too much material here. They could have cut back on that some. But then again, I guess maybe if you want to do that and just cover her head, you're going to need that much material. Oh, there's the inside of the hoodie. Pink with the silver. Or is it teal? Teal. Pink with the teal. These are sharp on her hair. And I don't want to damage this piece putting this her head sculpt on. But there we go. It's tight getting it on there. She's looking great. Stands on her own easily. Little green, low-slung backpack. I thought it was a little darker green in the movie. I'll have to check that. Missing a buckle. There should be a buckle on this strap. There's no buckle on it. This does not open. They've sewn it shut. But I suppose if you wanted to, you could cut the little string that they used to sew that there. We've got a piece of foam or something inside of it to give it the bulk. Little pouches on the side there. So we can throw this over her shoulders. If you so incline. I'm gonna keep this off. Now we have the hands and the figure stand. These fingers look extraordinarily long, possibly disproportionate. Okay, so in my opinion, well, let me show you what we've got here. We have two fists without holes in them. So one of the new webs that I've really enjoyed that the Hot Toys has come out with recently is this Todd McFarlane style webbing. And they have a name for this that they use, and I don't know what it is. And it sticks in the holes that you use to have Spider-Man swing from them. He has holes so you can use this web right here. And you can stick the web through his hand. She doesn't have any holes in her hands. Now, I imagine it'd be an easy fix to take a small little drill and drill a hole through it, should you desire to put this in there, or even this piece. But there are no holes in her fist, so you cannot use these pieces without modifying the figure. And I'd have no problem doing that either. If I wanted to, I would drill holes in her hands to enable these. I think that would be neat. But it's another difference in this they didn't do. And of course, you know, they didn't include either one of those webbing with this figure. So I could see why it wouldn't be necessary to do that to this figure. But we have fists, we have the I love you hands, the spider thwip, okay, and they look properly proportioned. No problem with these. Smooth glove, and I don't remember whether these were textured in the movie or not. Possibly. Couldn't tell you for a fact. And then we have the web clinging hands. Two different ones. This one is the flat web clinging, and these fingers look too long. They, in this view, they appear to be properly proportioned. Well, once you turn it to the side there, and you can see how super long that first finger is, I just feel that they possibly did a they went too long on that. This one, not so much. It's more of a like pressed, double jointed type look, if you can see that. I almost need something black as I'm holding these up to show these off. So you get this double jointed style pressing Spider-Man finger or whatever on these hands, where this one is a spread out Spider-Man pressing hand, if you can see that. It's really difficult to show it to you because the white just blends in with all the background here. And then the only other thing in here is figure stand. And that looks to be an image from the movie of New York. No nameplate. And that's neither here nor there. I don't know why they didn't at least put Miss Stacy on it. But they did not. This will work fine. If you wanted to put her into a flight pose, you would need to use a flight stand. And I don't remember if there's any two-piece flight stands in this style. But we get a museum pose figure base, which is fine. It's a nice looking figure base. And that would make it, her bottom of her figure base would make her a little bit taller than the Spider-Man figures. Just a little thicker than the Hot Toys Spider-Man figures, but that's fine. So let's stick the articulations on her. Hey, all Siri, happy Saturday, all. Robert, just a fan. Welcome, welcome. You have the white Spider-Man. I do. The negative suit Spider-Man. I sure do. You want to see her next to her? I posed him. Interestingly. I like the pose on it. But he was posed in this manner because of room on the shelf. That's why the Detolf will be great. And I've got that coming. I actually have this Spider-Man underneath the white one, but here's the white one. We unboxed this about a month to 6 weeks ago. And on the shelf I have him actually under there as such. But yeah, this is the negative suit Spider-Man, and he has a blue tint in the white, by the way. So it's pretty cool. Come on, Spidey. Can't believe you just took a dive. And I have two of these Scarlet Spiders. I fully intended, when I purchased the second one, I fully intended to try to make him appear a little more like the comic book, but I'm fine with him the way that he is. So I have one with his hoodie up and one with the hoodie down in a standing pose. But yeah, this is how I've posed the negative suit Spidey. And you can really see the blue tint in him here on the video compared to Spider-Gwen, which has no blue tint in her white. You see the difference there in the two? Her suit is white, no doubt about it. She looks great. Let's go over the articulations on her. Yeah, this is how I've posed my negative suit Spidey. Oh, so it's the first film after Avengers for Robert Downey Jr. And I think that might have been some of the reasons why he wanted to get it from Iron Man, because he's an actor. He loves creating characters. One of his favorite movies, it seems, is the Sherlock Holmes, which I've never seen his Sherlock Holmes. My wife loves Sherlock Holmes. And maybe I'll make that a task to watch that this weekend. And I love Robert Downey Jr. So I wonder how that movie is, but she loves Sherlock Holmes. You guess it's crap. Let's see. Half Gator, half Greek. That's an eBay sale notification. I'm back. How's her? Possibly. Lokolu. Damn, they look good. They do, and I am so pleased. I've talked before that I was as I was growing up, the comics that I was exposed to was Superman, Batman, Richie Rich, Disney comics, and Archie comics, and for the most part, that was it. I didn't have any exposure to any Marvel comics that I can remember when I was a little kid. I knew about Spider-Man from the cartoons, from the television shows, but I didn't have any knowledge of Spider-Man like I did of Superman and Batman. So Superman and Batman were my real first superheroes. So I will always have a direct connection to Superman and Batman in that regards. Great respect, love Superman and Batman, all the incarnations of Superman and Batman. Just don't have the room to get into a Superman and Batman collection or the money to do that. But would love to if I had those other two options of more space and more money. I would gladly collect all Superman and Batman. But though they were my connection to the superhero world, it wasn't until I discovered Spider-Man that I actually had like a personal connection to him. I could relate to Spider-Man. I could truthfully feel what Spider-Man was going through, Peter Parker was going through, of becoming Spider-Man. He was a relatable character to me in many ways. He wasn't a mutant. He wasn't super rich like Batman. He wasn't from another planet like Superman. He didn't have any special powers that he was born with that he had to deal with like some of the mutants. He literally was just a regular person like you and I, trying to make it through high school. Granted, he's a genius, so he does have that I don't think the majority of us have. So he's a super genius, so he does have that. But other than that, he just accidentally gets bitten by a radioactive spider and now has to deal with that. And he fought that. Remember, he didn't want to. He refused to accept it. His uncle Ben had told him, "With great power comes great responsibility." And it never sank in. It's one of those things like your mother will tell you over and over and over again. This and that and this and that and this and that. And then one day all of a sudden it clicks, what your mom's been telling you or the dad's been telling you all these years. It finally makes sense. And through his lack of action, he caused the deaths of his, in kind of in a sort of way, if you look at it in one way, the death of Uncle Ben. And that's what made him then become the Spider-Man and take on the responsibility of being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and taking care of his folk. So Spider-Man was my connection. When I started collecting these, it was the Iron Man figures that really got me excited in collecting these 1/6 scale figures. I've always collected something. I've got a box of Toy Biz 5-inch figures, and I bought many Spider-Mans over my lifetime. But I didn't go backwards when I was buying the Iron Man. I didn't go backwards and buy a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I didn't go backwards and buy an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I really enjoyed Tobey Maguire. I really want to get the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man figures. I didn't so much connect with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, but I would still get those. I've got the Electro from that. But when they started cranking out these Spider-Man, it was like, Mama, I'm home. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, give them to me. I'm going to buy every single one of them. So I am looking forward to every possible release and incarnation that they could possibly make of Spider-Man. And I want them all. I want them all. So, yeah. This, of course, was a full-on total buy. All right, so right off the bat, another thing just came to my attention. She doesn't have web shooters in the movie. She's wearing web shooters with this figure. Cute little web figure shooters, but there are no web shooters in the movie on her. So, for movie accuracy, you'll be removing the web shooters if at all possible. This comes right off. Just a little web shooter there. But if you wanted to use the webbing, you're going to need a shooter. But she didn't have any web shooter on her. I suppose if you wanted to, you could take the web shooter off, possibly stick it up the sleeve here. See what would happen if we do this. This has bent my little webbing. How about instead of trying to shove it up there, I'm just going to hold it and then snap I love you hand on here. Wrong one. Oh, come on. Super tight. Come on. Why are you fighting me so? The little wrist pegs wiggling around. I'm going to try to put the hand on first and then stick the little webbing in there. Can't get the wrist peg to stop wiggling. There we go. So got the hand on there. Shove this up her sleeve. There you go. So you don't need the web shooter to attach the webbing in there. I just slid it right up her sleeve there. So if you want to movie accurate, remove the webbing. Butterfly shoulder. This gives you the forward and back on that. The arm can be totally rotated all the way around. I don't like doing that because it's so difficult to get it back into the proper position again of a natural position, but sure enough you can run it all the way around, and it has the articulation on the bicep as well. Bring her elbow right up, all the way up. You can touch her shoulder if you need her to. Good definition, good looking figure. I mean, it really looks as I remember her. The pink and teal in the webbing on her body there. It's really nice. Can't tell if it's raised. Or if it's imprinted into it. It's really hard to determine. I'm thinking it appears to be stamped into it. It appears to be a little bit of a slight texture there. I really can't tell feeling it. I don't have much sensation in my fingertips from my injury, so I couldn't tell you for a fact by feeling it if it's raised, but it appears to be pressed into it. I think it is raised up a bit, which is neat. So they more or less painted the blue or the teal onto the pink. It's really great. This is really a good looking figure. I'm hoping the Hot Toys looks just as beautiful or even better. But who knows when we'll get the Hot Toys figure, right? So she can do an ab crunch, but the suit is pushing back. Oh, we can get a nice back bend there. Really nice. Really nice, good looking back bend there. She's articulated. She's actually wearing ballet slippers. I imagine for a reason. So speaking of, we can get her leg up about yay high. So I got to tell you, speaking of bison figures, for the articulation of that in regards, it's almost tempting to remove this suit and put it on a bison body. However, what we would lose would be the bust. I don't think the medium bust is this small. I'm really loving her definition of her body. I'm really loving how she looks in regards to things. And I would hate to do a bison to her because I would lose this design of her. You know what I mean? I don't think the bison body would look exactly like this. But if I wanted to get this articulation, if I wanted to get her leg all the way up ballet or splits or full on splits, then yeah, bison would be the way to go. Because I'm almost positive you can do that with the bison. You can get her head to her leg. But you can't do this. You can get a full splits, but the body just doesn't bend. And I think you can with the bison. Also, another thing you would get if we were to use a seamless bison joint is we would get a nice smooth foot there, which we're not getting. We're not getting a smooth ankle break. We're not able to do her in a full-on ballet pose. We get the weird ankle break out of that. Instead of it just being straight smooth into a full-on toe point, we're not able to get that here. Close, but you notice that the line comes down and it should continue straight there, and it doesn't. It cuts in, if you can see that. Right there. Just the disadvantage of it being an articulated foot. This is cloth or polyester or silk wrapping around here, but the foot is plastic. There's a joint in the foot, so I'm assuming there's a toe articulation, but I'm not feeling it. It might just be tight. It's fighting me. I can't imagine why they would do that to the shoe if you can't bend the toe up. I'm sure you should be able to bend the toe up. It doesn't bend down. I'm sure you should be able to bend that toe up because of the articulation that's in it. But I'm not able to move it much. You see, I've only been able to move it just a teeny bit. I would imagine it would bend more. I don't know. You can get her up to this if you hold the leg up, but the hips push the leg back down to that. So you can do that if you wanted to put her into, exaggerated poses, which is the whole thing about Spidey and whatnot is this weird angles that he he gets himself into. And I imagine she's wearing ballet slippers for a reason. I don't remember in the comics, but I'm assuming she takes ballet. I'm digging this figure. She 100% belongs with my Spider-Man group there. And yeah, I think I'm going to do her without the web shooters. Totally. But, you know, like I said, there's no hole in the fist. And it would be nice to be able to put the Todd McFarlane webbing in there, or the fisted webbing, both provided by Hot Toys. These little wrist joints are tight, 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 tight. One of the reasons I bought all the Feisen doll figures was because I've kept a really good spreadsheet trying to explain the differences to myself of which ones they are in regards to the athletic bodies and the hips and the shoulders and the heights and all that. But I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison of them. Plus, they seem to sell out. And I would rather have a Feisen figure available to me should I decide I wanted to do one than not to ever be able to get them. And they're so inexpensive. You can get them anywhere between $50 and up for just a basic no head sculpt body to one with a head on it or whatever. And I found that the suntan seemed to match most of the figures that I've ever purchased. Rarely would I use a pail, so I didn't buy any of the pails. I take that back. I bought one pail. They have a pail with a red hair, and I'm not too pleased with my Red Sonja Mary Jane, so I've bought another redheaded Feisen, because the Red Sonja comes from Feisen, but they totally like braided her hair up, and I don't want to mess with that. Plus, I don't much care for her expression on her face, so I've seen the redheaded Feisen pale figure, so I bought one of those to see if I can do another Mary Jane. No problem having more than one Mary Jane. A little bit of blurb of material right there. I don't know if you can see where my finger is. A little extra piece there on the sewing. But this is where they shoved the body into it and then sewed it back up. She doesn't have any problem standing on her own, really. So you don't need the display stand if you don't want it. I would assume if you're able to stand your figures up without it. We get a nice little pose. I like the wire in this a lot. Really turns out good. I'm really digging this. I mean, I want them all. Give us silk. Give us, gosh, there's probably like 15 different female versions of Spider-Man. And his daughter, right? Spider-Girl. Mary Jane, I think, donned the Spider-Man outfit once in a comic or another. There's the elbow, the double jointed knee. get something going on here. Not having difficulty with that. Just trying something out here. Seeing if any of this will work for me. Not happening. Yeah, this is definitely not an action posing figure stand. There we go. Using her little foot up against the base here to get her to kind of go into a type of a interesting little pose there. This is why I like the figures over statues. I mean, I've collected statues in my lifetime. I had a beautiful Giorgio Armani Disneyana Jessica Rabbit. Held on to her for years. Sold her a handful of years back. And a nice little profit on her. Signed by the master himself. She wasn't 1/6 scale. Don't remember what her scale was. They make a lot of scale 1/6 scale figures. See if we can put her up into her little ballet pose here with this. That doesn't look so bad, really. Light her up a bit. That's pretty good. She seems to do a lot of the toe poses in the movie. So that's not too bad for a straight on. There we go. So I'll give you a look at her toes. And that looks pretty nice. Really pleased with her. Not a bad figure for the price. I don't know if they're still available anywhere, but I recommend this. If you're any type of a Spider-Man fan, if you love the Spider-Verse and you want to get a Spider-Gwen, I don't think you can go wrong with this specific bullet head figure. Of course, Hot Toys has theirs coming out. It comes with more accessories and interchangeable eyes in the helmet, which this one doesn't have. The eyes look great. And I ordered 2 of these, by the way, because I want to display one with the helmet on and one without. And I will open the other one later. And I don't know when my detoffs are coming, or detoffs, but maybe that'll be a show putting them together, or possibly putting the figures in them. Who knows? Let's check up on some of the chat. Sherlocks are great. Thank you, Cedric. Thank you very much. Social Toys is doing a dual. Yes, thank you. That was a new release. That Spider Noir that Social Toys is doing, or Susu Toys, I'm not sure how you would say that, is more in line to the comic Spider Noir, but it works for me, and that's another must buy. I couldn't tell you if Hot Toys is ever going to crank that out. They might. You never can tell. One of the pissers about Hot Toys is you can't tell what the hell they're planning on doing. And yeah, thank you for reminding me. Soso Toys, or Susu Toys, is doing a Spider Noir, and it's not so much a rendition from the movie. So if Hot Toys ends up doing one, I'm sure they would do it from the Spider-Verse, and I don't know why they wouldn't. The movie is an absolute success, remarkable movie, really good movie. If you're not a comic book, if you're not an animated movie fan, I mean, I understand that, but it's really a good movie, great story, and bringing all the characters to life from all the different movies, and the relationship between Spider-Noir and Spider-Ham is just too damn funny. But yeah, I saw that, and thank you for reminding me of it. I couldn't remember what it was. I knew there was something that was new, and I'm going to see if I can't order him as well. I want to get the female Venoms also that are out there. And I want to get the Claw from the Black Panther movies and Avengers Age of Ultron movie. I want to get the Claw in there, and there's something else that I wanted to get. As I was digging around in my boxes this last week, I found a Hot Toys body, a male body that I'd used from something that I'd taken a body off of. So I was able to put the nanotech suit in that, and I took the Mark IV body, or whatever, that was in that, and put it back into the racing suit. So now I have my Stark racing suit back, and I have my nano suit back. Both of those need ankle extenders to make him a little bit taller than what he is. He needs to be taller on those two. So I've got those back. What else am I doing? Working on getting ready to start turning that Titan Iron Man into a Mark 7 diecast pod. That'll be a project video that I'll be making for that. And I think that's all I've got going on. Oh, I've got these Ryan Reynolds heads, which I showed you guys last week. The trying to do a Deadpool civilian clothing, like the pizza scene civilian clothing from Deadpool. And I've got the X-Men Origins Deadpool head sculpt also. See if I can't do a Deadpool in that outfit as well. Got that one also. Showed these to you last week if you guys were there. Mark 43 and War Machine Mark 2 and Iron Patriot. Yeah, there you go. My first hot toy, I think, was I think it was the Mark 17 Heartbreaker, actually. And so anything that came out before that was catch up. But at the time, I bought Mark 17 Heartbreaker, the 35 Red Snapper, the 33 Silver Centurion. I also bought a Mark 20 Python and a Mark 21 Midas. Playing catch up on those. They were previously released. And those, I think, were my first Hot Toys, if I remember correctly. I think those were my first Hot Toys. I started buying back in 2015, I think is when that was. So all this has been amassed in 5 years, this collection. Whew. Mayday Parker, his daughter, yes, thank you. Deluxe Captain Marvel is a very nice piece. I put Goose with Winter Soldier Nick Fury. There's I think it's AC Play. Makes a really good look at Captain Marvel. There's a couple other Captain Marvels out there. The Hot Toys has the new Captain Marvel from Endgame. I really would like to see the green suit Captain Marvel and her team from that. When she was called Vers, I think is what that was her name was. I would love to see that. Hot Toys showed in their catalog the green suited Captain Marvel. I don't know why they didn't do it. So, Mayday Parker. Yeah, that was her name, wasn't it? Spider-Man's daughter. Spider-Girl. Wasn't that what she was called? Spider-Girl? How tall she is compared to Miles. I don't have a Miles yet. So I don't know how tall Miles will be. I've ordered, I think it's made by Young Rich Toys, is the Miles figures that I ordered. There's like the deluxe set. So you could make 4 different versions of Miles. Four different versions of Miles from the deluxe set, or 2 of them. So I can have every version of Miles from that. And then Hot Toys announced their Miles. There was also another company that made a Miles, but I passed on that one. I didn't much care for it at all. And the Hot Toys one, the jacket is the wrong color, and I talked about that in my video that I talked about when they made that available for pre-order. I've got the Hot Toys one on order as well, but the jacket is way off. So Hot Toys one will not be in his jacket when that comes. And of course the Peter B. Parker, I ordered I think 2 of those because you got him in his army jacket and sweatpants, and then of course you have him in his pudgy little Spider-Man suit. 2-man job on the Detoffs. Uh-oh. Why is that? Okay. So the Noir from the PS from the Social Toys is more like the PS4 game version. Interesting. I didn't compare it to that when I looked at it. I looked at it and I said that looks kind of like the comic book one, but that would be good to hear that it's more from the PS4 version. But yeah, it's a definite buy for me. I was trying to figure out what could be done to make it look more like the movie version, the Spider-Verse version of that. I know that they've hinted around to possibly making a Spider-Noir movie with Nicolas Cage. I don't know how that will ever, should that ever come into effect. I love Nicolas Cage. He's a pretty good actor. He's just doing a voiceover, but he's got that voice. He's got that very specific Nicolas Cage voice, and it works well for him. I think that was a perfect casting, having him play Spider-Noir, that dirty detective from the 40s style of speak that he has. So I think that works out well. Spider-Man 3 head on that body. On the you're talking about the black Spider-Man head? I thought the same thing. I was like, all I gotta do is put the black Spider-Man head on there, and you're a little more in line to the Spider-Verse movie. The pants are wrong because they're like a pinstripe pants. But man, that Spider-Noir looks beautiful, and it's another one that I need to definitely put onto pre-order. It's so much hate when there's so many figures that are out, and you just don't have all the cash to be able to get all the figures. But yeah, definitely for a Spider-Man fan like myself, fuck yeah, that goes without saying. Spider-Noir, right off. Jeez. webbing on the mask. Exactly. It's exactly what I thought when I was like, put the black suit Spidey on here. And I pray to God, I really do. I hope that Hot Toys, if you're listening, please re-release the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Pretty please. Especially because they're in the PS4 movies, video games. You get the Sam Raimi suit is in the PS4 video game. The black suit is in the PS4 video game. I don't remember if Andrew Garfield version of it is, and the classic version is in the PS4 suit video game. Keep cranking Spider-Man out. I can't believe for 1 second that you're losing money on any Spider-Man figure. Spider-Man is Marvel Comics' money maker. They've made money on Spider-Man from the beginning. That's always been their biggest money maker. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I understand that some of the Spider-Man may be on the fringes of what people might necessarily collect. But come on, the red and blue suits, the Sam Raimi's, the black suit, come on. Get with the program and get those figures out there. Pleading with you, Hot Toys. What's the story with the Detolf taking 2 people to put it together? Give me an insight, you guys out there that have the Detolfs. What am I up against? Does Taskmaster grow in size? That's the character from the Black Widow movie, right? Or dad or whatever. Does he grow in size? Because I noticed the Cos babies or whatever that they're making, they have like a double size one. Is he a shape changer like Ant-Man? Giant Man or whatever? I don't know anything about him. But I was curious why they had him larger than the others. Does he grow? I pray they make all those figures from Black Widow. Where's the villain from Ant-Man and Wasp? The Ghost. That's badass. Where's Tessa Thompson, the Valkyrie? Got a sneeze coming. It was a false alarm. I hate that. Don't you guys hate that? You got the false alarm sneeze. Four pieces of glass, 2 plastic runners, 2 metal frames. But you're saying it takes 2 people to do it? I might have to have a friend of mine assist me with that then. Well, an acquaintance of mine. Easier. I'm assuming you're saying it would. I might experience a little difficulty doing it with by myself. I can see that. Is it heavy? That would be a problem. Yeah, there's definitely silver dry brushed onto these Spider-Man webs from Hot Toys. No doubt about it. No doubt about that at all. There's a Hot Toys one. Slide it under the, right there underneath her little wrist. Works well. I like that. You will never hold it all together on your own. I understand that. That makes sense. It's not heavy, it's just awkward. That makes sense. So what else you guys got going on? I wonder how long it's going to take to get here. It really bums me or bothers me that the local IKEA store can't be bothered to have the shelves in stock. Come on. Freaking thing's a giant warehouse. I was obviously able to order the doggone things. You tell me they can't order them and get them in stock? Come on. I think they're trying to make out of that $40 shipping and handling. Tell you the truth. I want to put it in their fat little pockets. That's my opinion on that. I may be wrong. I may be right. You see my data for the pics I've sent you. I have in the past, but I don't remember them. I've seen a video that this person had done on how to make the Detolf's dust proof. It's pretty neat. He puts like a weather stripping around it. It's a pretty good idea. I've seen another person that had done put the Detolfs up on top of something and used the bottom cabinet for storage and whatnot. And that I also thought was a really neat idea. Really good idea. Because there's lots of stuff that just really needs to be stored away. Like this whole back area here should be free of anything. There should be none of this clutter here. This is supposed to represent the the Hall of Armor, the wine cellar, more or less. Actually, the wine cellar is in between the garage and this. So this is what I was creating with my Mark 42 in the middle going down. And none of this should be here. A lot of this clutter. Just have more figures than I have room to put down. I need to put Shuri back up there. I need to get that Eric Killmonger. That's what I really need. I need to get the Jaguar for the collection. But yeah, there's my Mark 21 Chrome. I love that figure, one of my faves. And I really want to see a Mark 21 die-cast Chrome. Simple enough, man. They got the Mark 7s all day long. All you got to do is cast it in gold chrome. Make it happen. I guarantee you, you will sell a ton of them, Hot Toys. I guarantee you will. I seen IKEA has a double wide display case. I'm wondering if this land speeder would fit into it. That'd be nice if it did. I should take measurements of that and go check that out. It's a little bit different style. It's not exactly the same as the Detolf, but it's close. And it washes her face out. All that extra light does, doesn't it? Really pleased to have her. And again, like I said, I have no problem with multiverse characters, but leave the character alone when you develop the character. Don't go back and change it later. There's no point in that. There's such a wide variety of Earths that you can make these characters in. Just make a different Earth. You don't have to go back in there and change it. You don't have to change your main character. If you made a character one way, make him in a different Earth in the other way. You know what I mean? No problem with that. I'm glad they accept all the Spider-Men from all the Spider-Verse, women, girls, man spiders, whatever, you know? Because there was an incident in the What If series of comics where he's more spider than he is man, and he's got one with 6 arms, and there's just so many of them. It's not even funny. I have 4 figures on some shelves, 3 on others. I'll send you some pics on the messenger. Beautiful, thank you, CBS Sci-Fi. That was one of the things I was looking at, trying to figure out how many I'll be able to put where. I'm hoping that the shelf is tall enough that I can put my Venom in, because he's a good 18 inches. I believe 16 inches probably. I don't know how tall the Detolf shelves are. I'm hoping I can put my Venom in there. Don't have my tape measure. I'm not going to go to the room to get it. But I think this is 17 and a half inches or maybe 18 inches right there on this. And I'm hoping Venom will fit into the Detolf. But I've got 4, 8, 12, 15, 16 Spider-Man figures to put in there. I'll still keep Spider-Man here with the Avengers. See him up here. You really can't, but he's right there. I'll keep him there, but all these Spider-Men will go in. Same thing with the Venoms. I've got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. More or less. So I'm hoping 4 will work. Because four shelves, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 4 shelves on there, right? 4 posing areas. 10, 12, 13, 14, 16. So I'm hoping I can get them all. 17 Spider-Man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 Spider-Man figures. I'm hoping I can get them all into one Detolf without them looking crowded. That's the plan. Because these are only 12-inch deep shelves. Because these are bookshelves. The Detolf, I think, is 18 inches or 16 inches deep. Gives you more room. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying healthy out there, and not going too stir crazy. So I've still been going out to running errands and shopping, etc. But of course, I wear a mask. Totally wear a mask everywhere I go. I have from day one of this. As a matter of fact, at the beginning, my wife had me wearing gloves and taking alcohol wipes and the whole 9 yards and wiping everything down before I touched them. But now I just put the mask on. I'm no longer wearing the gloves. No longer using alcohol wipes to wipe everything down. But I'm not shaking hands with anybody or anything of that sort in that regards. But I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy yourselves as well. You have 5 Detolfs. And were you able to buy them directly, or did you have to have them shipped like I'm having to do? Did your local IKEA have them, or do you have a local IKEA where you are? Let's see her next to a spider. The Spideys are brought up here, or not standing. Let's bring a standing Spidey up here. For a height comparison. If you notice, as I was saying, this stand is a little taller than the Spider-Man stand. So let's take them both off the stand, take her out of her ballerina pose, and put her next to Scarlet Spider here. Miles, I'm assuming, is shorter. Don't remember. Oh yeah, big size difference here. Come on, guys, stand up for me. The hooded Spideys. I wonder how she compares to a Black Widow. I love the wraparound waist holders, especially for the female characters, but it's difficult to get the figure out. You have to take it the whole thing again. It looks better than the crotch grabber. It looks better than the crotch grabber on many of the figures, to tell you the truth. This one. The waist grabbers. Come on. I was dropping her because I couldn't tell how tightly I was holding on to her. Shared with you guys before my lack of ability to feel much in my fingers. There's just some loss of sensation from my injury. So I could tell that I'm touching something, and I could feel texture and stuff, but I just can't necessarily tell it as well as a normal human being can. About the same height there, looks like. I'm thinking that However, she has longer legs than Black Widow, especially because Black Widow's in a high-heeled boot. Black Widow's in a high-heeled boot, and her butt is lower than Gwen Stacy's butt. So definitely not the same figure in that regards. Gwen has longer legs, but they're the same height. If you can see that. Does that help any? The butts. And I think Black Widow has a more ample bosom. But similar height, the two figures. Get her back to her toe point. Really digging the toe point. All the Black Widows. It's so funny when I first started collecting these figures. I was like, I only need one Black Widow. No, I want them all. I want all the Black Widows. All the Captain Americas. All the Thors. I want to get Odin. I don't know why I put her batons in the back when she's holding her batons here, but I don't think they're the same batons. Truthfully. I'd like them to make a Robert Redford figure. And a, what's his name? Gary Shandling. Some of the regular just schmucks out and about. Right in the store, right? Get some JB in that drink. Get rid of the cold. Yeah, right. Thanks. Siri, you're my best pal. Let's shake hands. You got it, Robert. Yo, COVID. This was your first Black Widow? My first one was Age of Ultron, which is actually my favorite Black Widow. She's actually my fave. And I've seen somebody on Facebook, this collector. She took the this Black Widow, which is a pretty neat one, from Infinity War, and redid her head, cut her hair to the proper style, and colored it, and it looks really super good. And I've considered contacting her. I would gladly pay her to fix my Black Widow. I just don't know how to tame this hair. This hair is just too much. I love the natural style hair, but there is something to be said for sculpted hair in that regards to it not becoming all crazy and fizzy. Scarlet Witch is another one where the hair just kind of gets out of control. But then again, when I'm looking at the Thors, sometimes I'm like, God, I wish he had, real hair instead of that sculpted hair that just sticks out and you can't do anything with it because you turn his head and the hair just sticks out like it's made of concrete. It's a give and take. I think the new in-game Scarlet Witch comes with, I think it's sculpted hair, isn't it? With her braid. But then how they Fison braided the Red Sonja hair. So I don't have any idea, man. Gwen has more junk in the trunk. I think you are right. Gwen has more junk in the trunk. And Black Widow is not quite as ample down there, but her bosoms are more than Gwen's. Isn't the female body great? You figure she'd be more smaller and slender doing spider abilities, right? We should thank Black Widow. She saved us all. Yeah, she did. She sure did. She sacrificed herself for the Soul Stone, right? Which is what the Red Skull said he could never do. He could never sacrifice that which he loved most. So that's why he was left in eternal torment as the Soul Ghost. Have all the stones. That's right. Um, uh, Scarlett Johansson had made a comment recently in regards to the movie, the Black Widow movie that's coming out. And it appears that she's done making the movies as well. And because she made a comment, I don't remember the actress's name that's playing her counter or her sidekick in the new Black Widow movie. But it appears that she's going to be carrying the mantle of the Black Widow going into Phase 4. So that will, continue giving us that character, even though she sacrificed herself in order to get us the Soul Stone. So I think that's what's going down with that. So we'll see. What else have I got coming? I think that's all I've been notified about. So I've got possibly my Fison figures will be here next week. Don't know. We can go through some of them. I've got the Detolfs coming. Don't know what the status is with that, how long they'll take. And then my Captain Marvel Deluxe. So that's the next 3 weeks, I believe. And I need to make a video of creating that Titan, Iron Man Titan, into the pod. I'm going to do that. And I need to replace the key fob for my Camaro. They just dissolve totally out. And so I'm going to buy one of those and put that together. That'll be a video I'll throw up as well. So that's what I've got going on for the next handful of weeks. Yeah, they do seem to be talking to Zoe's family. So, I don't quite understand if it's like blood family or, if you've ever had like a friend that you would call like a term that I've used is my brother from another mother. So I don't know if she meant sister in that regards or sister as in blood family sister. She could mean sister as in they went through the same training that she went through to become the assassin that she is. They do seem to give an appearance that as they're sitting around the table that they are family. Taskmaster and all of them are part of a family. It'll be interesting to see how that movie goes out. A gargoyle for your 89 Batman? I'm not familiar. Is Gargoyle a DC? Is Gargoyle a DC character? Or you mean the gargoyle like on the side of the Chrysler building where he's sitting on that, looking out over Gotham because we have Metropolis and Gotham in the DC universe, where we actually have New York and Chicago in the Marvel universe. But I think also DC recognizes New York and Chicago as well, don't they? Don't they also have New York and Chicago? But Metropolis and Gotham are fictional cities which kind of reflect those. Gotham's kind of like any dirty city, if you will. And Metropolis is any big city. You really can't say Metropolis is Los Angeles or New York. You really can't say one or the other. I guess I'm kind of assuming that, truthfully, even though there's a Metropolis in Illinois, I think it's in Illinois, where they actually have like a little Superman gatherings and stuff. There's actually a real city called Metropolis, either in Illinois or Indiana. I don't remember which. But I've always had the impression that Gotham was more Chicago and Metropolis was more New York. But that's just my opinion. But I don't remember. Do they actually have a New York and a Chicago in the DC universe? Is that the gargoyle you're talking about, the building? Isn't it the Chrysler building that has the gargoyle? or not the gargoyle, but like an eagle's head or something. Because Spider-Man's always hanging out on that also. Am I wrong? I don't remember. But I know that it was one of those buildings that has some type of an eagle head or something that Spidey hangs out on. And Spidey's in our world. You know, his world really mirrors ours well, just like all the Marvel is. So like Stark Tower, I think some of you people who live in New York City are able to look at where Stark Tower is and in relation to the Empire State Building or the Chrysler Building, whatever, as you're walking around it. And I think Stark Tower has moved, or the Avengers Tower has moved from where they put it in one film, and then the next film it's in a different spot. But they really do a good job of keeping all that together. Just like from my understanding, the PS4 video game is a great rendition or recreation of actual New York City. My wife was watching the video. She's from New York, and she was watching the videos of the people playing the PS4 Spider-Man. And she's like, "Yeah, they did a really good job recreating that with all the major landmarks and such are where they should be in that manner." It's pretty cool. Keyboard Warriors had a video about the gargoyle diorama for Batman vs Superman figure. It looks great with the '89 Batman too. Heck yeah, you could put Batman on that at any time, you know, because he's the Batman. I'm Batman. You know, he's the Dark Knight of the city, watching over his city, and I agree. You couldn't go wrong with him on a gargoyle. Wasn't it a Spider-Man figure that came with that gargoyle? Wasn't it a diorama for one of the older ones? For an Andrew Garfield or a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man? I don't remember. Where did you get the gargoyle from? Who made it? Is it an old figure diorama that somebody else cranked out before? Or is it something new that has come out since then? Or is it third party? Let's hear more about that. That gargoyle, because that'll work easily for Batman or Spider-Man. Truthfully. You can't go wrong with either one of those. It's a custom. So somebody made it for you specifically? That's awesome if that's the case. Sweet. Was it a Jazz Ink diorama? Because he makes all sorts of really neat display cases and stands, dioramas and backgrounds for figures. Keyboard Warriors is a video, and I'll have to watch that. I'll have to check that out then. See who it was that cranked that out. So I can't think of anything else to talk about. Think about wrapping this up. No CS Customs diorama, I think. CS Customs, that's the company. So I think I've pretty much covered everything. I don't know where I'm going to put those Detolfs at. I might put them over here on the side. Take those DVDs. I have a DVD display. I have a DVD shelf here, and I might put that in the living room, and then put the Detolfs here. My wife's going to kill me when she sees those Detolfs come into the house. She's going to absolutely kill me. She will get up out of the chair just to strangle me. Jeez. She's going to kill me. Pouring rain in Florida. I lived in Florida for a little bit, and I thought it was always funny. You could pretty much set your clock to the 4 o'clock rain shower. Sun's out, and it would rain for like 5 or 10 minutes every day. A lot of rain in Florida. A lot of rain. Beautiful CBS Sci-Fi. Well, I'll look forward to getting those photographs. Thank you very much for sharing them. You can share your photos of anything that you have, any of you guys have done. I appreciate it. Facebook Messenger, send them right to me. Very happy to see whatever you got. Love looking at your collections. I appreciate that. You've inspired me a lot of times on some of your great poses and different things that you guys have done. Really like it. matter of fact, the Titan, using the Titan for the Iron Man, was one of you guys shared that with me, and I thank you so much. I showed those pictures to the rest of y'all a few weeks back when we were in the office, and I was showing you the photos of the guy that had done that custom originally, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. Get that done. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the head off, or the neck off of that piece there, to try to figure out how much exactly I've got to cut out in order to get that pieced on there, to get it into the right spot. But it appears easy enough. He's showed in his pictures where he cut it at, and I might just follow that guideline. I'm not exactly sure. He kept the arms on. I'm planning on taking the arms off, and I don't know whether that's a good idea or not, because there'd be a big hole there where the arm was. Maybe I should just leave the arms on. I don't know. He left the arms on, but I want to take the arms off for my pod. Next week, I believe I will have the either the Detolfs or Fison figures in stock, and I'll be going through a handful of Fisons, figuring out what the difference between those are in regards to the body shapes and the obviously interchangeable feet and not. And because I think sometimes it's really difficult to figure out whether you need a 6, a 12, a 15, a 22, a 35, a 43, or what, in regards to why there's so many different ones available. And I don't even know how many different Fisons are available right now. I think like 15 of each shade, and I'll also order the Jow dolls. So I'm hoping that those will get here for next week. I don't think my Captain Marvel will get here. She normally takes figures from Big Bad Toy Store. Normally take about 2 weeks, because I go with the cheap shipping. You can have the expedited shipping and have it in a few days, but I just do the $4 shipping and have it sent to me over a couple of weeks. So I've got that coming, and like I said, I ordered a Detolf last week. So however long it takes for them to deliver that. So I believe at this point, that's what I've got coming up. Either the Fison figures or the Detolfs. And then Captain Marvel is coming. So that's what I've got coming up. And then, like I said, working on the Titan Iron Man Mark 7 pod. I certainly will. It more than likely will not be a live video, but yeah, I plan on doing that. A shake on it. You got it, Robert. The COVID shake. So I think I'm going to wrap up. If you want to tip me, because really that's what Patreon is. If you enjoy what I'm doing, if you like spending the time with me, and you just want to send me a little thank you donation, subscribe to Patreon and throw $1 a month my way. I mean, it might just be pennies to you, but to me, it's a sign of affection. It's like when you go to the restaurant and the waitress brings you your food and your drinks. You're thanking her for her job. She's already getting paid to do the job, and then you're tipping her for the service. And that's what Patreon is. I have nothing to give you other than this, just our time that we spend together. But I would appreciate if you feel that you want to help out, become a Patreon subscriber, and I would gladly share your name on all the channels and all the videos that I do. If you so inclined, I have no problem with that. So that'd be a great shout out for you as well. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share the videos with your friends. Let your other collectors and fans know to come check me out if you haven't already, and because that helps out a lot. Give a thumbs up to the video, and don't skip the ads, believe it or not. If you watch the ad, or if you even click on the ad, and I'm not telling you to do that, because you're not supposed to tell people to do that either. But if you see something you want to buy and you click on the ad, that tells YouTube that I'm getting to you, and the advertisers are what you are interested in. Don't click on it if you have no interest in it. Just don't click on it. Don't force money to come to me from YouTube. But at the same token, don't skip the ads. Don't skip the ads. It's pennies. The pennies add up. I'm not going to throw pennies out the window as I'm driving down the road. They add up. Big news? You got big news? We have big news? What's the big news? Half gladiator, half geek. I love you, man. Thank you very much for that $2 tip. Love you. Thank you very much. Half gladiator, half geek. Welcome to the channel. I don't remember seeing you before, so glad to have you. And I hope you enjoy the content. And I will, like I said, you can reach out to me through Facebook Messenger. That's always open to any one of you all. You can find me at Siri Emerald, Siri.emerald at Facebook.com. Or Siri Emerald. 1/6 Scale News and Reviews is another Facebook channel that I have. You can reach out to me any either one of those through Facebook Messenger, which goes right to my phone. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And my wife's got all the ads turned off on her computer, so they don't even play. I keep them playing, but I skip through unless I'm trying to help out. So when I'm watching Sartimus's videos, I don't skip the ads. I watch the ads. And but I keep that in mind of who it is channel I'm watching on whether or not I'm going to skip the ad or not. And sometimes it gives me a chance to go up and get a drink. So all the same 5 ads, right? Same ad over and over and over and over again. I don't know what that fighting happy peace face with a hammer. I don't know what that is, Toy Mafia. I don't know. Doom Patrol. That's a pretty neat ad. I have to say that is a pretty neat ad. I agree. 2 or 3 ads you're forced to watch and can't skip. I make that little selection in there as well. I get to choose how the ads are displayed, and I say just display everything. Display whatever ad you got. I don't even care. Just put it up there. I do tell them not to do the ads that are like for, there's certain ads that you can tell them you don't want, and I do tell them that. I don't know which one it is. I don't make any changes to it. I set it up a long time ago and just click all through it, and right now I don't have to go back in there and set it up anymore. I guess the good thing on the live videos, there's no real ads today as we're watching it. But when the video actually processes, which normally takes about 24 hours for it to be processed for other viewers to be able to view, I think the ads come in at that point. So not many people watch this after the live show. It's really the live show viewers are who actually sees all of this. You know, another video ads that I like are the masterclass videos. Those are cool and very insightful and interesting. I've learned a lot. Just watching the ads on those, I told my wife, I said, maybe we should sign up for some of these master classes. They seem really cool. What's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson. Love watching his stuff. I really enjoy that. And Penn and Teller. That'd be a neat master class to take. So I think I've kept you guys long enough. Been here 2 hours, 15 minutes. I think we've talked ourselves to death. If you don't have anything up, what's up with the Manscaped? Oh, you're talking about the I didn't mean to. I meant to approve that. You typed in there "shave like a man." It came up as needing it to be approved by me, and I meant to approve it. I ended up clicking hide and delete for some reason, but yeah, those commercials are funny. Those commercials are funny. You're talking about the guys like, is your soap like this? Whatever. Is that the ones you're talking about? Maybe I don't know which one you're speaking of. I get these ones where the guys like selling the soap and the shampoo or whatever it is he's selling. That's a trip. And he sells sunglasses too. Same person. I don't know if he's involved in that company or just happens to be an actor for the commercials. But those are interesting. A razor. I've not seen that. I've not seen that ad. A razor for men. parts. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. I can't imagine. I can't even imagine how that ad even goes down. That's kind of that's kind of outside of my expectation of what it could possibly even be. Jeez. It's cracking me up just thinking about what it could possibly be. Oh my God. That's just too funny. It's Manscaped ad. Yeah, once I empty out these two shelves of Spider-Man and Deadpool, put them into their dead off, I'll be able to get some of this stuff off of here. Not really. Maybe I'll be able to get. Will Hulk fit over here? I don't even know if Hulk will fit on this shelf. Nope. Nope. Too tall. Gotta find a way to put my Hulk and my Igor, my Hulkbuster. Gotta get those two posed up. Gotta get Siri up on the shelf. All right, guys. Well, thanks very much. If your figure's still available, you should track it down. If you have any affection, desire, or whatever for Spider-Gwen, I think this is a really beautiful representation of her. With the face mask on, she works well for the comics too. It's really pretty faithful to the comics as well. So I think it's a good buy, and at like less than $200. How can you go wrong, truthfully? So I recommend her totally. Later, boys and girls, right? I agree with. Gosh darn it, I'm clicking the wrong one. Toy Mafia said later, boys and girls, and I clicked the wrong one. Sorry, I'm trying to not hide these, and I'm clicking the wrong one. It says show and hide, and I'm clicking hide for some reason. I'm not trying to hide them. Okay, buddy. What's that? Wash your hands. Gotcha. Shake. Have a great week. Plus, everyone in chat, be cool. Thumbs up. Great ass. Yes, I love it. I think this is a great figure. It's a full-on buy. I recommend this totally. Totally recommend it. Totally. So, I'll see you all next week. Love you guys. Thank you very much for everything. And enjoy the hobby. Happy collecting. See you in the next video.